If you've been thinking of starting a small business, you may want to move to Boulder, Colorado. The city came in first in a new report on the best cities for small businesses. The top 5 were filled out by Wilmington, North Carolina, Bridgeport, Connecticut, that's a bit of a surprise, Evansville, Indiana, and at number 5, Portland, Maine. But small business owners face a whole lot of obstacles to keep things running. So are government programs providing enough support, or is the government hurting? With us today is Freda Thomas. She is the author of These Entrepreneurs NYC to tell us more about the small business world. Freda, welcome back to Arise Xchange.
It's a pleasure to be here with you again.
Boulder, Colorado. I love Boulder, Colorado. Beautiful city, great college town, but a great place to start a business. Why?
Well, there's a growing populace, the millennials, with a strength in the spend there that is exponential. As well, there's access to Silicon Valley, easy access to Silicon Valley. And Boulder is also becoming that next part of the tech boom. It's a very, very enterprising area. People are into ecology, the environment, all of those things make for a healthy...
And good quality of life in Boulder as well.
Exactly.
Colorado is also a little bit of a let and live state. Right? So do they have the favorable rules and regulations in taxation?
Tax incentives, co-share space. There's also the equity in terms of getting access to capital. A lot of the partnerships in terms of VCs have their influence in that area as well.
Yeah, and boy, there is certainly a shift from the days where you needed to be in a large city, right? Because to have access to money, because of the way the world works today, you could be anywhere.
Right, you can work anywhere virtually, and as well, I have clients from all over the country.
When it comes for the government, is there any common thread among why these cities are doing so well? Is the government doing the right thing, or is the government completely leaving them alone?
I think it's the municipalities that are doing the right things, and that's separate from what's happening in the government. And I will say in favor of the government that there are tax incentives. There are grants as well for research and development for IT, and the Department of Defense, Department of Transportation, the Environmental Protection Agency as well. They're all providing
And these
incentives.
municipalities, do they have an attitude of let's get the businesses here and let's create jobs and let's not put up obstacles in the form of paperwork or bureaucracy or regulations?
I see them creating the systems first and then using those systems to address bringing in the kind of talent that can help bring the economy back to its flourishing
People want to live
position.
in these towns too, which is really important.
Right, and when you think about, as you said, the quality of life, people in those areas are concerned about healthy environments. So those cities are doing what they can to make life better for people. And also the cost of living is quite different from somewhere like New York.
Okay, so let's turn the tables now and talk about a place like New York. Look, this place will attract you no matter what because it's New York City. But you just wrote a whole book about entrepreneurs who are succeeding in New York City. Yet the city and the state does not make it easy, does it?
It doesn't. However, what I would say on the positive side is that there are small business centers in New York. If entrepreneurs are resourceful, they can access 8A minority certification. There is crowdfunding, which started in this area. So there is a lot that they could benefit from.
And there's a startup program called Startup New York.
Yes.
But I know Startup New York pretty well. And you need to hire somebody to figure it out. Why does the state do that? And I say that because it's complicated. Why does the state do that? On one hand, you have the governor saying, we're going to make it easier, and you run those nice, pretty commercials, and then you try to do it, and all of a sudden you're hiring accountants and lawyers.
Well, partly, if you're hiring, it strengthens the payroll taxes.
Well,
right? Right, and so then that strengthens the economy for the city. So it's a repetitive ripple effect.
Do you think that when you look at places like New York and places like California and places that are considered challenging for small businesses, that at some point they're going to say there's a tipping point, too many companies are starting up elsewhere?
I don't, and here's why. Because forever, as you said, companies are going to do whatever they have to do to be in New York. Look, in my book, there's a PR firm. She has to be here.
She has to be here, absolutely.
Right? CNN, all of her linkages are right here. And for many of the tech companies, Google started in Silicon Valley.
But they're here now.
They have to be here.
That's right.
So whatever the cost is that is associated with that, it behooves them to figure it out.
We have about 30 seconds left. Are we seeing a government shift in helping small businesses away from sort of helping the large corporations, which make the biggest donations?
Okay, and so let's be clear. There's the small business, 7 million and under, and then there's this tech impetus that's growing exponentially. And what I would say is the small mom and pop, not so much, Andrew, but the tech companies definitely, you know, we're going to see a surge there.
Freda Thomas, thank you so much. Always good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Come back soon.